My favorite movie from the 90s was Jurassic Park.
What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Now, for today's video, I wanted to go over a bunch of new information surrounding the next Jurassic World movie. Believe it or not, there is a ton of stuff to go over, and a lot of it sounds pretty cool. At the very least, this movie looks like it's going to be very different from the last one, and a few rumors that have been going around on the location in particular, where they're filming in, makes me kind of surprised. Because to be honest with you guys, I have no idea what it actually means, but before I go into any of that, let's get the basic stuff out of the way first. Alright, so as far as the movie itself goes, Jurassic Park 7, which is being called something of a reboot to the Jurassic World franchise, and also going under the stand-in title of Jurassic World 4, it's confusing, but look, this movie has just added a brand new cast member to the team. Manuel Garcia Rulfo is confirmed to be in a leading role alongside Scarlett Johansson. Coleman Domingo and Jonathan Bailey are also in the film. Now, this new guy is someone who has been more of a TV actor than a major motion picture star, and Deadline even calls this Garcia Rulfo's biggest film role yet, which kind of goes back to bringing in newer actors into the film series that aren't necessarily so widely known. If we go back to the Lost World Jurassic Park, Julianne Moore and Vince Vaughn were very new at the time, and I guess you could say the same thing for other films in the franchise. I know that Chris Pratt had been in Guardians of the Galaxy before Jurassic World, but he was nowhere near the star he is today, and a lot of that is because of the Jurassic Park franchise. Also, the next Jurassic Park movie is going to have a pretty noteworthy cinematographer. Director of photography John Matheson has joined the film after working on movies like Hannibal, Logan, Kingdom of Heaven, and Gladiator. Now look, personally, I think a film with that kind of look that he brings, like, you know, what Ridley Scott did with Hannibal is kind of wild to think of in the Jurassic Park universe, especially with that pig scene, which is still hauntingly dark in my opinion. If you haven't seen Hannibal, that scene in particular always stood out to me. That was the first movie that came to my mind after hearing his name, probably because Julianne Moore filled in for Jodie Foster, and you know, Jurassic Park, Dr. Sarah Harding, it just kind of clicked for me. So it looks like this movie could have a very, very different look compared to the last trilogy, which was a little bright and more Jurassic Park 3 in terms of its jungle aesthetic. You know, it's very different with the Jurassic World movies, with only Bayona kind of bringing that more dark and grounded look, that more regal feel. The other two Jurassic World movies don't really have that. Now, in other news, Sky Studios is a location where the movie is about to start filming. To quote the Variety article, the fourth Jurassic World movie, which Gareth Edwards is attached to direct, is currently in prep at the studios. And one more thing about the shoot. So this is just something I heard, and I can't really go into too much detail because I don't want to wildly speculate about too much just yet, but get this, guys. So the next Jurassic Park movie is scheduled to shoot in Thailand around the jungle sometime soon. And it looks like they're casting for South American looking men and women to start filming scenes, or at least a scene for the new movie. Now this is a kind of interesting bit of info because unless the film is set in part somewhere around a South American location, this is kind of the sort of environment and population that looks extremely familiar to old school Jurassic Park, you know, something that we would typically see in the older films. But whatever it really means, look, I don't honestly know, but look, post your opinions on what this could be in particular in the comments down below, guys, because something tells me this movie is going for something way different than what we've seen in a couple of decades. Why would you hire South American men and women in the Thailand jungle? You know, that sounds like a stand-in for something. But look, there's more information. Now, believe it or not, there's also talk of yet another Frontier game, a successor to Jurassic World Evolution 1 and 2 that's due out the following year in 2026. I'll probably talk about that in a separate video, maybe. So this movie sounds like it's actually trying to build the brand back up to its former glory, or at least some shade of it. Gareth Edwards and David Koepp seem to have something very different in mind if these are the people they're casting, the locations they're shooting in, and the photographer that they've hired. Now, I gotta say, as far as the plot itself goes, everything seems to be pulling it towards, you know, a movie set after Jurassic World Dominion, so dinosaurs are all over the world, with a select few people and newer roles. And oh man, my bad, I forgot to mention the best part. So remember, a few videos back when we talked about Malta being a shooting location. Well, check this out. For some reason, And I don't really know why. There's this article that talks about the new Jurassic World movie that's about to start filming in Malta in July. And they focus on 2 massive water tanks on the studio grounds in the article, saying the Malta Film Studios offers, among other facilities, 2 infinite horizon water tanks that film productions generally use for large-scale sound effects and underwater shooting. Now look, I don't know why they put that in there for the Jurassic World article specifically, but remember a year or so ago, Chris Pratt himself even said that a movie featuring more of the mosasaur sounded cool to him, and in my opinion, I totally agree, because if there's one animal that was severely underutilized in the whole Jurassic World trilogy, it's just gotta be that monster of an animal, because it was not only a big draw in the 2015 film, but everyone wanted to have some great elaborate scene or scenes in each sequel. People compared it to Jaws, and now, like I said, I don't know if these water tanks are even going to be used in the movie. The stuff about articles is that sometimes they just put out information it's not necessarily false. Like, they do use these things in Malta, but we don't have any plot details or information around it. It is weird that they highlight it, though. I mean, can you imagine David Koepp writing some kind of eerie dinosaur scenes around water, or, underneath the water for that matter? He never got to do that in Jurassic Park of the Lost World. He's finally back, so that could be cool, especially with the director of Godzilla at the helm. Nothosaurus, Megalodon, Plesiosaurus, even the Spinosaurus. That would all be really, really cool to see in an underwater action scene. Like, I don't like Alien Resurrection, but that underwater scene with the xenomorphs, I don't know. This could be interesting. And yeah, guys, that's the rundown so far, and I gotta say, I'm kind of impressed. It looks like what Universal is trying to do here is return to the days where fans were truly excited to see new entries again. I don't know if any of you remember, but the hype surrounding Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom in 2017 and 2018, which is actually where my channel kind of cut its teeth, that was kind of wild. And at the time, they had sort of spun the trailers and marketing to foreshadow a movie that would harken back to the Lost World Jurassic Park in terms of tone. If you go back and watch those trailers for Fallen Kingdom, they knew how to sell a movie to an audience. Now, ultimately, this time, they actually did get David Koepp himself back, the writer of Jurassic Park and the Lost World. They hired a brand new cast. They're basically using an almost brand new team, both behind and in front of the camera, with the only holdovers being Spielberg, Marshall, and Crowley. So if this movie sucks, I'm sorry, like, we all can kind of see where it's coming from. Another producer has been added, by the way, too, a guy named Jim Spencer, who worked with Gareth Edwards on The Creator and Monsters. And we also have Jack Ravenscroft that has been hired as a first assistant director. All in all, I'm kind of surprised to hear some of this news. It looks like they're going more grounded, but I'm gonna wait and see, the actual promotional material, what that looks like first. It feels like to me at this stage we can expect some images from the new film in the next few months, but I don't think a trailer is going to come out until either December of this year or maybe as late as spring of next. Either way, guys, let me know what you think. What are your thoughts on all of this news? I have so much stuff to cover on Dragon Curve with brand new movies, and the Jurassic Park stuff is gearing up more, and maybe it's gonna be different. What does any of this new information do for your personal excitement of the movie so far? What's with the South America information? What's with the water tanks in that article? And what do you think about the new cast members? Whatever your own thoughts and opinions happen to be, I'd love to hear all about them in the comments down below. Now, before I go, I want to thank everyone that's helped me build my channel over the years. I'd also like to thank every one of you guys who've watched my stuff. You've all been extremely cool to me. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and hope that you'll consider subscribing. God bless you all. Christ is King. See you guys in the next video, and as always, take it easy.